Hi everybody, it's Tasso. There are many occasions when we look back at our lives and trying to make sense out of our path. It can be during midlife crisis when you wonder, how on earth did I get here? Or maybe when you want to deepen a relationships and so you explain a little bit about your background. Or of course, most obviously, when you apply for a job. And what happens normally is that we tell slightly different stories and focus on different elements of our past depending on the person we talk to, which is perfectly normal and fine. But in order to do that and in order to pick and choose the right things, I find we should have a master story, a storyline that connects the dots and that puts the pieces of the puzzle together. Because you and I both know our lives are never clean. They're never perfect. Lives should never be perfect. There's always a mess around them and there are always detours. But the problem this poses is that when you then try to put your life's milestones onto a CV, that then you get thinking of how things fit together. How does that bank job relate to the marketing position you're applying for now? Or how did the sabbatical maybe lead to the yoga business you try to launch? But it's not only about getting a job. Going through such an exercise will increase your self-confidence. It will increase your self-awareness, which is absolutely critical when you look then at the future. So how should you look back at your life? Here, I want to share with you 5 ways to look at this. Number 1, what are your experiences? You would have read about this or seen it in other forums. People always recommend that you do not collect things, but instead you collect experiences. And of course I agree 100%, and I encourage everybody to spend time and money in experiences, because experiences gives you breadth. Experiences open up your mind to new ideas, new cultures, new ways of thinking. Experiences deepen understanding. You look at things at a different level, from a completely different perspective. And experiences involve the heart and the soul rather than the brain only. Number 2, what were the problems you solved? I came across once a very interesting story about a lady who went to a speech of Elon Musk. And at the end, she managed actually to pose a question, and she asked Elon Musk, what would it take for somebody to actually get a job at SpaceX? And Elon Musk supposedly said, don't tell me what you did, tell me what problems you solved. Why is this important? It is important because it shows a completely different way of thinking, because it demonstrates that you focus on the service, on the customer, on helping people. It shifts your mind towards a problem-solving mode, and this is very, very critical in business. Number 3, what are your achievements? Achievements always focus on the result and not on the task at hand. It doesn't matter really whether you ran a meeting. What matters is what came out of that meeting and what happened because of that meeting. People, and I particularly, I'm also very, very guilty about this, that we focus on the task at hand rather than on the outcome that this task will give us. Number 4, mastery. Now, I think there's 3 different levels here on things. You know, there's knowing, there is doing, and there is teaching. So I encourage people to look back at their lives and see how things fit into these categories. Meaning that you should look at the things that you've done and see, are they things that I know about? Are there things that I've done and I've seen results from? Or are they things I actually have or can teach, can mentor people, can coach people? It's different levels, different kind of levels. Number 5, what are you proud of? This is my favorite one. Why? Because it is all about personal growth. Because it is about, it shows your struggle. People are rarely proud of the things that came easy. People are proud of the things that they mastered, for which they had to go through hell. So if you once are in a fortunate position to interview someone and watch for how they describe different elements of their lives, you will see how exciting this is sometimes when they explain it, how they light up. And it's incredibly inspiring and contagious when you see somebody describing those elements they're proud of. I encourage really you to look back at the elements of your life and look at those things that you're particularly proud of. because these are the things that you would passionately role model. So these are the 5 ways I find you can look back at your life to give it a more substance and more meaning. So in summary, number 1, about what were your experiences, because this shows open-mindedness and your breadth. What problems you have solved, because this shows your customer orientation. What your achievements are, because here it's again a demonstration of a result-mindedness. What levels of mastery you had in different elements of your life. Do you know about? Have you done things? Can you teach something? And of course, what you are particularly proud of, because people admire and want to know how you overcame adversity. So, these were the 5 things. Now, it doesn't, why do I say this? Because, it doesn't really matter what you did in life. What matters is what it did to you, what you learned along the way, and how it transformed you. And here's a bonus thought. Going through such an exercise will not only help you get prepared for your next job and putting on a CV, it will help you also distill your values. And your values are your framework of your life. Your values are the basis for your decision making. And if you have cracked decision making, I can tell you you're ahead of many people, because this is something that most people struggle and that keeps people back. And knowing yourself will not only give you some self-confidence, it will also make you independent from other people's opinions and judgment and validation. I've come across a YouTube video once with 50 Cent where he said something that will stick in my mind forever. He said, "I've come so far, there is no way for you to discourage me." So how far have you come? What makes you you? It is worth looking at your life from this perspective. I hope it helped you. I hope this served you, and I hope it gave you some ideas on how to better look at your life, how to make sense of your path. If you liked it, subscribe for more, and until the very next post, all the best.